All right, so tonight we're going to pull off these door panels. This is in the rear of the 2014 Ford F250. So we already replaced the front two doors with Rockford Fosgate 6x8s. Back here are 2-inch tweeters, the opening at least, where it starts, that line is 2 inches. And then behind the seat, back here in this panel, is another set of, at this point, factory 6x8s, which are going to get replaced again, just like the front. And then behind the seat is the factory sub. So what we're going to do, I've had an internal debate about this for a while, but I believe I'm going to Dremel that out, and then that will be recessed in there. So we're going to get this door panel off, look at behind that panel, see what it looks like, and see if we want to go through with that. Skar Audio's got pretty good quality. I did this, if you go back through my videos several years ago, I upgraded an Ion, I think it was Road Warrior. It had two 10-inch subs and then tweeters, and I tried to use these. They came out in 2016, so roughly 4 years ago, 2017. But anyway, I tried to use these in that speaker box, but it wouldn't work. I had to go with a different model. But these are their highest quality, top of the line tweeters. So give me a second, and I will get that 7mm out of the door panel and get it out of there. We'll take a look at what's going on. All right, so I said it was 1. I was wrong. So there is 2 screws in the top of the panel. 1 right there. And we got that factory tweeter out, which is that little guy. Very plain Jane basic, no name brand, whereas the system is a Sony. And all the other speakers I've pulled so far are Sony's, but this one has nothing on it. So the tag on it calls out 25 watts. And we're going to throw these Skar SPX-Ts, 40 watts RMS, 80 watts max, 4 ohms. So I got to get the courage up and cut that out. But the plan is to punch that out. And give me 1 second, let me get this taken apart. Okay, so the plan is for that to be like that on the back, that speaker to go through, and then that be on the outside, obviously. So, like I said, just got to get up the courage. Skar's got pretty good quality. This definitely will just change it from factory looking to aftermarket. I just have not made up my mind if I want to go through with it, but given enough time. And okay, so the wiring schematic for the left rear door where this is going in, so driver's side rear. So we've got negative going to brown or purple, and then positive going to green. So give me a second, I'll get that cleaned up, but that's the factory. I'll get that cleaned up, and we got the Dremel broke out, ready to go. Alright, so this is the mess that I've made in my house. Better clean this up before my wife gets home. That is the finished product. My Dremel did get away from me on that little spot, but if I didn't tell you about it, you wouldn't see it from there. I'll flip this down and show you. So I Dremeled it out just with a normal Dremel bit, and then I took the sander bit for the Dremel and cleaned up the edges, because otherwise there's not enough meat on those threads to get that on there to hold it in place. But there's my wire harness complete. So this does have already from the factory an inline base blocker. So instead of using the ones that came from Skar Audio, which are a little bit bigger, and I mean, even if I was to 3M tape that down or something in there eventually, from the door opening and closing 5 million times, putting Chloe in the back, you know, it's going to rattle loose eventually and sound like crap. So we're going to go get this one put back in because I've already tested the speaker out, made sure that the wiring was correct. But that should be it, and we'll move on to the passenger side. Okay, so the other one I didn't document as much of the process because I honestly didn't know if it was going to work out. So now that I know that it's going to work out on the driver's side door, we're going to move over to the passenger side. So I've linked this in videos before. This is the Jack and Me kit. I will link it in the description and the speakers as I always do in all my videos. Anyway, so we're going to get these 3 star bits out, and then we'll get that harness done and then start dremeling. So hang tight. Okay, so here's the factory tweeters out of the rear. Both sides ended up being, even though the schematic told me something different, being brown-green. So again, there's factory, and here's aftermarket. So again, using the inline base blocker, I did my crimps. I'm now going to electrical tape everything, get it all sealed up, make the harness look good, and then we'll Dremel that out. But I've already taken this one, plugged it in, verified it works. So rear left or right are both the same. So you've got green to red, so think Christmas, that's your positive. Black to brown is your negative. So like I said, give me a second and I'll get this harness finished, and then we'll do some dremeling. All right, harness is done. Now we're gonna start dremeling. Okay, so that's what it looks like whenever you pop that piece out. Chloe, grab that and bring it here, and you can show what that piece looked like. So that's what you cut out, is that honeycomb. And then we're just going to put on the sanding bit and then get that cleaned up and push the Skar in and then clean up the rear. All right, hang on a second. Okay, so that is finishing up with this bit, and we'll switch over to the sander. Okay, so that is the finished product. We'll lay it down, and so you can see I beveled the edges to where you can get that trim ring on, which is what holds it all in. So obviously those rings on the outside are held in whenever the tweeter is in there. With those 3 ears, just like that. Flip it around, sorry. And then the screws are what holds the back of the door onto that little trim ring on the front. So give me a second, we'll get the speaker put in and then get the trim ring put on the rear. All right, so there's the finished product. So these are the Skar audio. I don't remember, I think it's TXS-01, probably butchered that, but fairly certain those are the 3 letters and then 1. So that is driver's side rear, passenger side rear. And you know, I thought it would look pretty bad, as in definitely not factory. But if you've never got in one of these trucks before, never looked at it or noticed that it was black, I mean, with the trim ring and everything, I mean, that looks factory. It's just got a little bit of brushed chrome on there, both sides. I would play some audio, but I'd get demonetized on YouTube, so I'm not going to do that. So between that and the Rockford Fosgates that we did in the front, the next thing are the Sony tweeters. I need to order some aftermarket tweeters, get this pulled out, make them fit, and then do, again, like I said, some more Rockford Fosgate 6x8s in the rear panel. And then lastly, to finish off the audio, we'll be taking out the factory sub and putting in a shallow 8-inch sub that I'm still trying to figure out. From everything that I've read, it appears that it is 6 volt for some strange reason on the factory sub, and if you put a 12 volt sub in there, it will not turn it on. So I'm looking at resistors and all that fun stuff for trying to get it done correctly. So that's the one thing I'm still digging into. I will go ahead and order the tweeters tonight, and we'll move on to that project. And there's Chloe to finish it out.
Hi everyone. Can you please When you watch this video, if you like it, please hit the thumbs up when you watch it.
Wow, that wasn't rehearsed at all. She came up with that on her own, so that's pretty cool. Don't pay attention to her toys. Anyway, we'll get this finished out, and I will order the other parts I needed. Thanks for watching.